Oh boy, oh boy. Another day. Another dollar. Welcome to episode 43 of the Smells Like Wrasslin podcast here on YouTube. Pleasure to be with you guys as always. And we got a bunch to talk about tonight. We have the Tony Khan media call, which answered a lot of questions that were swirling around online. If you didn't hear about it here, it's because I didn't talk about it here, because I don't deal in fucking speculation. So now that we're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, Tony Khan, we're going to get some answers on what's been going on with Ring of Honor and William Regal and all this shit. And then we had what I thought was a fantastic episode of Dynamite, with a very surprising conclusion, in my opinion, and based on the ideas that me and a couple of my friends had. I don't think anyone saw that coming, so that was pretty interesting. Oh, is this actually cherry vanilla? Okay, good. Just making sure. So yeah, well, let's get into the Tony Khan call. He started with this whole story about like his mom having, I think, at least 2 strokes recently. And that led into him talking about the release of William Regal. So he started talking about that right off the bat. He said that the situation helped give him a better perspective on the importance of family. And Regal requested not to pick up his Renew option so he could go back to the WWE because I think his son is training there now. And let's be honest, Regal's been with the WWE for a long time. He's probably made a lot of good friends there. It was the right call. You know what I mean? Like, if the guy wanted to go and that was his reason for going, and Tony Khan's like, okay, I think that's pretty good. You know what I mean? Now, granted, doing something like that for a guy and then having that translate in storyline, that's a little bit tough, and I feel like they got themselves a little tongue twisted tonight. I mean, even I didn't fully understand Regal's reasoning for leaving, but we'll go over that tonight. And they let him leave. He asked about this back in October. They spoke a lot of times. And the terms were that Regal can't appear on any WWE, television until a year from now. So that way, he's only coaching. Like, he's not going to be an on-screen talent, but he could work there as a coach. Which surprised Tony because Triple H had a Regal montage during Survivor Series. So Regal kind of was on TV, but he wasn't on TV. So, I mean, hey, listen, that's the game. That's the game, that's the promotional game. You know what I mean? Like, neither of them could feed each other's fish. Each of these fishes need to be fed on the same pond, but they're not going to share meals. That's pretty much how it's going to be. And both sides will take any chance that they could get. So there you go. A couple other things he mentioned. One, said the future of Ring of Honor would be addressed on Saturday, which is your final battle this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. He said that, he alluded to something being revealed about a weekly television product after Final Battle. Now, does that mean it's going to be directly after Final Battle, the night of Final Battle, the day after Final Battle, the week of Final Battle? We have no fucking idea. It could be 2 years after this Final Battle. You know what I mean? Like, I just cut the business bullshit. All right? When I only want to hear the announcement that gives me concrete dates. I don't want to hear soon. I don't want to hear it's happening. I don't want to hear any roundabout dates. I just want to know what's going on with Ring of Honor television. Because I'm telling you this right now, and I think the fans have been pretty vocal about it. Like, They got to separate the brands. Ring of Honor needs its own thing. Creatively, it's hurting because you're trying to build up 2 different divisions and 2 different belts and 2 different titles. It doesn't fucking work, man. They don't have enough television for the AEW roster. And now they had the Ring of Honor roster. It's like, I don't know. But apparently, Ring of Honor is making enough money on its own just from the pay-per-views alone. So Tony basically could book these super cards on Ring of Honor, and almost no one expects there being any sorts of build at all between any of these matches. And pretty much with the hardcores, he gets away with it. Now, if you're trying to promote that to the, I don't know, the mainstream audience, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know, and to be quite honest, like, I don't feel like AEW is trying to, I think AEW is trying to make some sort of point that, like, the not WWE way of doing things could still draw and still make money. I guess that's a point that could be argued. Like, you do have to admit that there hasn't been another company that has done what AEW has done, except for WWE, and they've far exceeded that. AEW has been doing better than Impact and Ring of Honor and any other wrestling promotion that has tried to do anything in North America. So even though AEW isn't as big as, you know, like the WWE, they are, by de facto, the number 2, no matter how big or small you think they are. They are the number 2. Now, that affords them certain liberties. Like, it's like the same thing with Marvel and DC. There was a time where DC was coming out with its own shit, and then Marvel was coming out with just banger after banger. And everyone just kind of got used to this formula of movie because it just appealed to everybody. As long as you had a good enough special effects and a good enough star in the leading role, those movies were going to be successful no matter what. They were going to make a lot of money. That's pretty much what WWE does with its superstars. They're just like, this is the winning formula. This is how you make stars. We could teach anyone to wrestle, but if they could follow along in all these other steps, we could make them a star. So we had WWE as like the Marvel, right? Then you had DC, which AEW, there are things that they do that remind me of WWE, and then there are things that they do that remind me of just like the indies and stuff that I would see in like Ring of Honor and you know, like whatever was in WWE, when like it was allowed to not take itself too seriously, and it was a little bit more comedic and stuff like that, but it was all inside jokes for people who have just followed the industry for a really long time. So it's nice to see that kind of wrestling, which appeals to me, has found a home in the mainstream, which is on cable television. You know, it's on TNT, it's on TBS, it's easily accessible. I can make it appointment television. I'm not watching some sort of YouTube channel. I'm not chasing down some sort of subscription so I can watch on my computer. I literally sit down, DVR it on my YouTube TV account, and watch it. I like that there is a company that gives me the kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, like low-rent indie stuff, but on a bigger stage. Now, it's always going to just be, it has the opportunity now to just be an alternative. Like, you know, this goes back to what I was saying about DC and Marvel. DC all of a sudden then started to try and make movies just like Marvel. Everything had to connect, everything had a post-credit scene, da-da-da-da-da. And it just didn't fucking work. And then the movies that just were not Marvel, that kind of just stood on its own, like Joker and the Batman, and for better or for worse, the Snyder Cut, there just seemed to be a fan base that just wanted something that wasn't Marvel. And that's what DC now is starting to slowly figure out. AEW is just not Marvel. You know what I mean? So it's just, they have to, like, they're just able to just coexist in that way. They're just two halves of the same coin. Otherwise, we just have two of the same product just with different people. I don't know. I just like the variety. But he did talk about there being less Ring of Honor television on AEW television, which is important. You need to focus on your roster. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. I'm hoping that a TV deal is struck with Ring of Honor, that something's around. I don't know when in the week they're going to put it. It's obvious that Tony doesn't want to put anything on Thursdays because he doesn't want to compete with the NFL. He's not going to obviously put anything on Mondays because that's NFL and that's Raw. I guess he doesn't want to put anything on Tuesday to compete with NXT. You can't put it on Wednesday after Dynamite because I don't know who's really watching anything at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. And Friday's a fucking Rampage slot. Saturday is football and UFC and pay-per-views and way too much shit. And Sunday is spoken for. So I don't know when you're going to put Ring of Honor television on unless you're just releasing it as a YouTube series or you're releasing it like NXT and you're shooting it on a soundstage, recording like 6 episodes in a day and releasing it periodically online. I think that works out too. He was asked about the all-time low numbers for Rampage last Friday, and Tony said to expect a big card for Friday. It was an all-hands-on-deck situation for strong matches in the future. Now, listen, like, I don't watch Rampage because nothing important happens on Rampage. It's matches between some combination of the Factory fighting some combination of, I don't know, Best Friends or the Firm or the Workhorsemen or the this or the that. It's all the B and C level guys. It's obviously dark match quality shit. And like, to be quite honest, I like Dynamite because storylines progress, big matches happen, and big storylines happen. Nothing like that has happened on Rampage since, I guess, CM Punk debuting on Rampage, and they had a really big card on that show. Otherwise, the only other big thing that I remember happening on a Rampage was when Christian Cage took the belt off of Kenny Omega. Like, how long ago was that? You know what I mean? Like, fucking Kenny was still the world. He wasn't even injured yet. This was like years ago. So they need to start doing more important shit on Rampage. It was evident that they were starting to try and push it because they have Mox versus Takeshita on there. And that to me is a match that is, to me, when you put on that match, it's like Tony saying, Eric, please watch Friday. I'm putting on something you like. You should sit down and watch it. And you know what? You're goddamn right, Tony. I'm going to sit down and watch it on Friday. As soon as I'm done with work, I'm going to come home and I'm going to watch fucking Rampage. That's going to be something that I haven't been doing in the last couple of weeks. But they gave me a reason to watch. Like, it's going to be a good match. I would also like to see storyline shit happen, but I know it's difficult because you don't want to have major storylines happen on a taped show because you know that the crowd is going to leak it online, which is going to affect your viewership. So it's like you're taking a gamble putting out big shit storyline-wise on cable television, knowing that it could actually be spoiled. Now, unless one of my friends tells me, there's no way I'm going to know shit. I specifically set the way I collect information in a way that the well is not poisoned, okay? But that, unfortunately, is not the case for people that are very plugged into a lot of social media outlets, which means something eventually is going to leak. Because the more people and followers you have, the better the algorithm. So obviously people pile on that heap to get a lot of different search options when they're just scrolling around. And that, unfortunately, is just putting too many leaks in the ship. Like, you're gonna get fucking spoiled. So, but I get it. Like, you can't do that shit. It's too difficult to do. He hinted at something going on with AEW and New Japan and Ring of Honor, and he said to ask on Saturday. So I'm hoping that means that they're doing plans for a Forbidden Door 2. They have a lot of people who are fucking healthy that, like, oh my, like, the fact that Omega's fighting Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, like, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And FTR are still the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champs. So they're definitely going to be on that show also. Like, Wrestle Kingdom is going to be great. Like, a lot of dream match shit is going to happen, and it gets to happen in the Tokyo Dome, and it gets to happen in New Japan, which means you could just, I don't know, New Japan is just a specific kind of slipper that I like to put on that just feels really great when I'm in the mood. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you want to wear a silk slipper, sometimes you want dinosaur feet that walk around and go, when you're walking around. You know, sometimes you want that silly. So, I just love that there are going to be certain matches that are going to be happening in the New Japan umbrella. I think that that's going to be great. I'm still waiting for a Omega versus Danielson match. I believe I'm owed because the last one ended in a draw. But Omega is focused on this best of 7 series with the Elite, and they're probably going to do some shit with House of Black because House of Black is just murdering everybody. Danielson, I don't really know what's going on with him and what's going on with the Blackpool Combat Club now that Regal's kind of done whatever. So their paths haven't met yet. And I don't know how much time is left on Danielson's contract. I think he might have another year. I assume he signed a 3-year contract and he debuted in 2021, right? 2021, guys, I think. So, I don't know. We'll see what goes on there. I'm not really sure what's going to go down. He was asked about Shane Taylor's contract status with Ring of Honor, and he said he couldn't get into it, but he is going to be involved in a tag match versus Swerve in Our Glory at Final Battle. He said that so far as of the media call, they had not announced any matches for FTR, the current Ring of Honor tag champs, on Final Battle. So he was asked, what's the deal with FTR? Now, obviously, if you watched Rampage tonight, that question was answered. They're going to have a dog collar match with the Briscoes. But basically, Tony said, watch Dynamite and you'll find out. And obviously, he was correct, because sure enough, we found out. That was pretty much the main points from the media call. I thought that was important to go over. Did I talk about Survivor Series? I think I did. It's been a while since Survivor Series, yeah. All right, so we had a pretty stacked card tonight. The TNT title was on the line. Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin. A trios match in the women's division. Jade Cargill and the Baddies versus Madison Rayne, Sky Blue, and Kiera Hogan. Jamie Hayter, the current AEW Women's Champion, was going to sit down with Tony Schiavone. The Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. We were going to hear from MJF. We were going to hear from Jon Moxley. Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia were going to fight Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. And the main event for tonight, the AEW tag titles were on the line. The Acclaimed against the current Ring of Honor, AAA, and IWGP World Tag Team Champions, FTR. Now, I had my own predictions for this match. They were all totally fucking wrong. So I'm very curious. Well, we'll go over it, but, like, I was shocked. I did not think it was going to go down that way. The greatest thing ever invented on God's green earth is cherry vanilla Coke. Love it. So, we start off the show with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Jesus, I hate saying that. So this Battle Royal is for a shot at the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Okay? Now, I was a little bit confused as to why Starks signed up for this when he was already getting a title match with MJF. But from what it seems, he just wants to, he's going for it all. He wants to take MJF's title and he wants to take MJF's ring. So if MJF wins, he keeps both title and ring. The post-match promo in this match and after this match was incredible. So it was an okay match, standard battle royal. The real standout here obviously was the winner, Ricky Starks. Woo! The second he won, he didn't even get to freaking celebrate. MJF's music hits. He said next week he's going to be a 4-time Dynamite Diamond champion. He called Starks the drizzling shits. He said he quoted The Rock. I think he called him like a Rudy Poo candy ass. He said that he's a dollar store Dwayne. He's called Starks the Pebble, who he'll send back to Billy Corgan's NWA on YouTube. MJF, does his whole like shtick or whatever. Starks grabbed the mic, called him Maxi Pad, which everyone cheered, called him and chanted, called him a fifth-rate Roddy Piper. He said he's got cheap suits, a cheap tan, a cheap haircut, cheap looks, cheap jokes, cheap heat. He says MJF always lets people down while Ricky Starks constantly delivers. He said next week he's going to shut him up. He's going to smack the mole off his neck. He's going to take his title. He basically said, he's worked hard for everything that he's gotten in AEW. And it was a really passionate and emotional promo. I thought it put Starks over big. I thought the crowd reaction to this promo was exactly what you needed from a promo like that. The point of this promo for people who watch, the point of this promo for people who watch wrestling all the time and pretty much know that Ricky Starks is not going to win next week is that you want Ricky to, even though you know MJF's going to win, that the promo that Ricky cut is supposed to make you want to be wrong, that you want Ricky to win, that despite you knowing that the obvious and surefire booking is to keep the title on MJF for the foreseeable future, you want Ricky to pull at your heartstrings, even though your head's saying no, you want your heart to say yes, and Ricky Starks fucking delivered on that. I thought the crowd reaction is exactly what you need when you're watching at home and you're trying to get into the moment and you're trying to believe in Starks and seeing the people get behind him. That was great shit. Him not stumbling on his words, him going through and verbally undressing MJF from tip to toe was fantastic. He knocked it out of the park. He did exactly what he needed to do. I thought that was fantastic. It made me want Ricky Starks to win, which is exactly what you want out of that promo. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome. It should be a great match. MJF is obviously going to win. Is he going to win clean? Is he going to use the brass knucks? Is he going to use the Dynamite Diamond Ring? Is he going to use the Firm? Who the fuck knows? All I know is that MJF's going to win. I just don't know how it's going to happen. And if that's going to be the mystery of every MJF match, I'm okay for it. Because he's entertaining. And the feuds he's getting into right now have been entertaining. Ricky Starks has been on a roll right now. They've been telling that story for weeks. Then he goes and he wins the Dynamite, like Battle Royal, which anytime someone wins a Battle Royal, it's supposed to be impressive. You're one guy amongst, many. It's not like I play Warzone for a fucking reason. So, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Winter's coming, but I will be watching. It should be a very interesting night. MJF immediately kicks him in the dick. It was phenomenal. That was exactly what needed to happen. You just pour cold water on that fucking fire. That's what you're supposed to do as a heel. It was fucking great. He hit him right in the dick. It looked like he was going to take him out. Ricky, he manages to avoid it, hits him with the spear, holds up the title belt. It was a perfect moment. Ricky right now is the man that has the people. And the people will be behind him during that match. They will boo MJF. And when MJF wins in some dastardly way, it's going to be so creative that people are going to be like, ah. Or he's going to win clean as a whistle. And people are going to be like, he had to win. I did think it was funny that he called him the Pebble. Huge ovation. They go now backstage. Jon Moxley's there saying this is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. He's like, Hangman came back. He had something to say, and he said it with his fists. He says a lot of people in AEW just do a lot of talking. Hangman came in, let his fists do the talking. He said he enjoys the fight. He says this weekend at Rampage, final battle, the Blackpool Combat Club bring back what they do best. He said Moxley will be ringside tonight during the tag match with Claudio and Wheeler versus the Jericho Appreciation Society's Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia. He said he was going to be ringside. And Moxley said if Hangman wants another piece, he knows where to find him. So Hangman and Mox is definitely going to be a match that's being made. When it's going to happen, I have no idea. Is it gonna happen in what? I guess they do New Year's Smash. It could be. Could be Revolution, but we don't know when that is. I don't even think they've announced it yet. So and if they have, if someone in the chat could tell me, that would be fantastic. So yeah, that should be, I mean, that was a match I've been wanting to see for a while. And we got to see it happen, but it ended abruptly because Hangman got knocked the fuck out. So it should be a great match. And being that it's just for, I mean, a Hangman should win it, to be quite honest. I mean, then you could set up a match between Hangman and MJF and build up Hangman as someone worth getting behind. You know what I mean? And him beating Mox would be a statement. You know, MJF and Mox have already fought. So, I don't know. Anywho, the next match was the Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin match. This was a fucking awesome match because Joe just brutalized Darby throughout the entire match. But Darby Allin put up a really good fucking fight. He tried to hit him with that cannonball dive, like early on, and Joe totally just walked away from it, and just Darby just hit splat right on the ground. Then Joe, he pulled up the pads and just scoop slammed him right on the concrete. It was so nasty. It was so fucking nasty. He even hit him with the muscle buster on top of the fucking skateboard after the match. Like, that was disgusting, bro. That was fucking awful. But it was a great match. I was thoroughly entertained. Oh, March 5th is Revolution. All right, cool. But yeah, Joe brutalized him. Joe is now the king of television. It's the greatest gimmick ever. I'm hoping that, you know who I'd like to see take both of those belts and go on a monster run is Miro. I think that Joe should put up both of those belts and just put up an open challenge to anybody, and just Miro comes and just takes the belts from him. Like, you could put Joe in any program because he's a great character and cuts great promos. You could put him, he doesn't have to have a title. You could put Joe in anything. But seeing those belts on fucking, who the hell did I just mention? I just totally had a fucking brain fart. How did I forget as I was saying it? Jesus Christ. Who did I say? I can't believe I just forgot. Wow, that's awful. Oh, I must be really tired. But, no, this is gonna kill me. I have to remember this. Unbelievable. Huh, I can't remember. That really saddens me. Anywho, so Samoa Joe wins. He's the king. Oh, Miro. Fuck, thank God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I think it'd be awesome. Lana should be there, the whole thing. Like, I guess word came out. You know, I don't want to talk about it, but all I know is that I haven't seen Miro and I don't know why. Shivani's backstage with Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian. Cassidy said if Sabian wants a shot at the All-Atlantic title, all he had to do was ask. Sabian said he's heard from the Battle Royals, so Cassidy said to pick someone to defend the title against on Rampage. And so there we go. They do a video package highlighting Jericho versus Claudio for the ROH World title at Final Battle. They did a tag match. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. They defeat the ROH Pure Champion Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager, who they had Sammy Guevara with them. I mean, the tag match was nothing to write home about. The real thing was what happened after with the video package with Regal. So apparently, Regal filmed something several weeks ago before Full Gear, in the event that something were to happen to him. And his explanation for that was that being that he's kind of a villain, you never know when someone's going to try and take him out and very possibly succeed. As we all know, it was MJF who ended up taking him out last week or the week before. He knocked him clean out with the brass knucks, and he got stretchered out. So, Regal said that he did what he did to show Moxley, Castagnoli, and Danielson why they don't need him, why they don't need Regal, and can teach Yuta to be the best wrestler in the world. And he said, hopefully Mox understands that he's a calculating man. Regal did what he did so they could always stay one step ahead and keep their eyes in the back of their head. So I guess it was kind of a lesson for Mox to really just, I don't know. I don't know, like, is it a lesson for Mox to not trust anyone, but yet you want him to be part of a team of people that he has to trust? I don't get it. He said that he's Blackpool Combat Club until the day he dies, and he walks off. Shivani asked Moxley for his thoughts, and he never really addressed it. He was just like, well, you know, all I am focusing on is that these three men right here were the future of professional wrestling. We're going to keep the candle burning, blah, blah, blah. We're going to beat the Jericho Appreciation Society. So I'm like, that's what they did. I don't know what the fuck any of that meant. I don't understand. I don't get it. I just think they could have gone another way. But, hey, listen, Regal's gone, and we're just going to have to forget this ever happened. I mean, they can't change it now. Regal's gone. He's not going to be cutting any more video promos. There's no sort of retconning you could do, so it's a wrap. That's it. House of Black shows a message how they're basically going to destroy everyone. Shivani has this pre-recorded interview with Jamie Hayter. Shivani asked for her thoughts on Hikaru Shida versus the Bunny on Rampage for the Regina D-Wave title. Hayter said she'll have a close eye on the match and says whoever wins that match, she'll give them an AEW women's title shot. So there we go. She says she's going to be a fighting champion. So we'll see what happens. Jade Cargill, Layla Gray, and Red Velvet beat Sky Blue, Madison Rayne, and Kiera Hogan. It was a match. Shivani is backstage with Saraya. She was about to cut a promo. Britt Baker said, here's tickets to the Kia Forum on January 12th of Dynamite. And basically, Britt Baker made a challenge for a tag team match and told Saraya to pick a partner of her choosing because her partner was going to be Jamie Hayter. So they're going to do a tag match. Now, who that partner is going to be, I don't know. January 12th, that's in the Kia Forum, so that's in Los Angeles. I don't know. Who do you guys think it'd be? I mean, I could take a wild guess and be like, it's Sasha Banks or something like that because she's debuting in Los Angeles, Hollywood, so I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. And it would make sense because they're both two WWE girls and they were supposed to revolutionize women's wrestling, so which they did. I mean, they were competent women's wrestlers that came out, and NXT was a place that gave them really good storytelling. So it was the first time we got to see good professional wrestling from women. So I would say, yeah, they definitely stand out from the pack because they were the most competent in a sea of very incompetent female wrestlers. So, they did kind of start a revolution, They helped put enough eyes on the product to make real change. The main event, the Acclaimed defeat clean the AAA, Ring of Honor, and IWGP Tag Champions FTR, consisting of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. They retained the AEW titles. I did not see this coming. I thought it was going to be a fuck finish. I thought the Guns or somebody else was going to interfere. They teased that. Actually, they didn't really tease it. They did show a backstage clip of Lethal and Jarrett watching the match because they have already, made mention that they want a shot at the titles. they didn't show the guns, or at least I don't remember thinking that they showed the guns. The guns didn't show up until after the match was over. That was the guess of certain people that I knew, that that it was going to be the guns interfering. It made sense because they were also gunning for the tag titles, no pun intended, but I just didn't see them being a clean finish on Dynamite, but sure enough, it fucking was. They had the Acclaim beat FTR clean in the middle of the ring. That's something, you know? I mean, FTR is still strong. Them losing doesn't change anything. They're probably going to put on a banger match with the Briscoes in that double dog collar match. But, yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal fucking tag match. It was a great match on television. I was a little upset that there was a commercial. I will always be upset that there are commercials during good matches. I will always be upset that there are commercials during any match. I just like watching the matches uninterrupted. But them's the breaks for television. I got too spoiled with NXT, watching that commercial free on the network for so long, or watching basically anything else that isn't AEW. But yeah, it was that's how they went. The Guns are still going to be gunning for those titles. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it does look like FTR is going to be fighting the Briscoes in a dog collar match at Final Battle. So we're getting FTR versus the Briscoes. Again, the matches continue to be entertaining. I don't know. They haven't let me down before. I don't expect them to let me down now. I assume I don't know what to expect, but I know I'm going to like it. That's as honest as I could put it. I don't know what to expect, but I know I'm going to like it, because those two tag teams just know how to entertain me. So now you want to put dog collars in the mix? All right. Put the dog collars in the mix. Let's see what goes on. Should be very interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. I apologize for the we had massive technical difficulties on Sunday when it came to both podcasts that I had announced prior. There are a lot of things we have to iron out on the technical end. So I do apologize. I will keep you guys up to date on this channel for when those shows actually happen. And happen in a way that it is digestible for you as a viewer, and you can actually watch and see these things. The fault is really my own. I dropped the ball on terms of the production logistics, and there's some stuff that needs to be worked on. So once that happens, you will find out right here on this channel, and I will promote it. I don't have a timetable as to yet. It's just going to take some time to iron out those details. But I will bid you all a very fond farewell. Thank you for tuning in for today. Royal, I appreciate you in the chat as always, bud, for watching and listening. Thank you. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. We're going to talk about what happens on Rampage, obviously. Final Battle. Anything noteworthy on SmackDown and on Raw. As far as I could tell on both SmackDown and Raw, nothing worth really mentioning. So that's why we didn't talk too much about WWE tonight. But we will definitely have a lot more to talk about next Wednesday. So thank you guys for everything, and I will see you next week.